You are entering E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
Still over in jolly old, huh? They're birds of word.
Yeah, I'm back.
Or you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
I
You
left,
went to
I left
Strong
and I was
Island.
back. I did, yeah. I went to LI. Went to...
Oh, wait, hold on.
Huh.
You're so, entrenched in Long Island and Strong Island that you call it L.I.
Well, I even threw up the LI hand signs like Zack Ryder does. And
is that a good idea?
Not really.
I tell you what's not a good idea. Once again, reaffirming that he'll never be on this podcast. Young Zaxky posted a picture on Instagram, the most ignorant picture I think I've ever seen. We're worse than a bathroom selfie, worse than all of that obnoxious stuff. He's wearing a red suit, I think a blue shirt,
I saw
brown
that, yeah.
shoes.
It's brutal.
Goofiest smile. And the only comment I saw was from Cody, take that down right now. And he should have, but I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
He could at least waited till like 4th of July to post that and have been like he was feeling American,
maybe.
I don't know.
Brutal.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It was bad. It was bad.
So it was a big week, Birdman.
It was.
Enough about the LI. Enough about the London. Let's get into it. Let's dive into it, man. Because I'm feeling frisky. I'm feeling fired up. I'm feeling ready to go.
Right?
I'm feeling a lot of F things.
Well, let's fucking hear it then.
Yeah, you want to hear it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first, let's talk about NXT TakeOver because that happened first sequentially over the weekend.
And hey, guess what? You said you watched some wrestling. You said you watched some wrestling last week. Well, I watched some wrestling this week. I watched NXT TakeOver. I watched Money in the Bank, and I'll talk about this in a while. I went to the second night of the UK Championship tournament.
You went.
I went.
And
I did.
Did you see?
I had to put myself over.
Of course. Did you see? You got a good pop. What? Did you appear?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
We'll talk about it later.
Oh my gosh! See, I know nothing of this.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to go and get the pop. Go get the rub, brother. All right. So NXT Takeover. What'd you take? What'd you think? What'd you take? Come on, talk to me. So I can refute everything you say.
Well, do you want to start from the last match and go first?
We won't have time to talk about everything. Let's just talk about the big points. Come on.
Yeah. I thought the Ricochet Velveteen Dream match was pretty damn good.
Yes.
I like I said, I like both guys. And the Velveteen Dream, he just has such a good character around the athleticism that he has.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, the perfect kind of foil for a guy like Ricochet, who's obviously his in-ring talent is kind of second to none. Nobody can really do what he does. So I just think that they meshed really well together. I thought they had a good match.
They did. And I think, and this is not a knock whatsoever, it's purely just the amount of time that he's been in the business. Mm-hmm. But once Velveteen Dream gets little things like actually looking like he's throwing a clothesline when he's going to miss,
right. Yep.
Actually looking like he's going to throw a punch, instead of just it looking like he's traveling through the spot, that'll make a huge difference. But that's truly just. The guy's been working 3 years?
Yeah, and I think the same. You can say the same all around there. It's you have to have the intent on your face, not just the body language, but it has to come from everywhere. It has to be the face. It has to be the body language
too. Because of the body language.
That's what I mean. I'm saying it all has to match.
Yeah,
is what I meant to say. The body language has to match the face, the facials, and when you're throwing a simple thing like clothesline, you can't just throw it just because it's getting you to the next spot. You have to throw it to take the guy's head off.
Yeah, with the intent that it's going to take that dude's head off. Yeah, right. So that was the only thing I saw. But again, I think he's been working 3 years. So the fact that he's doing what he's doing at 3 years in is scary.
Yeah, the guy's super talented
with where he can go. So,
yep.
All right. So what else? What else? I'll tell you what. The tag team match. Danny Burch and Oney Larkin against Roddy.
Yeah.
And
I know the name. I just like hearing
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there's 4 members, and I always like go. Yeah. I really like. It's confusing with the
Undisputed Era.
Thank you. My God, what is wrong with me? I'm all fired up. Anyway, it's intriguing with them because they're not faces, they're not heels, and that can make it difficult. Mm-hmm. But their style of work is just really cool. They just really they do a lot of little things. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it's different, right? Because there's like the little nuances and stuff that they add into the things, and like you said, they're not pure heels, not pure baby faces, which sometimes can make it a little hard as far as deciphering
who's who,
crowd reactions, right?
Yeah.
So, but the crowd is invested in them either way. Either you like them or you don't like them, type of thing. But I think the little things they do are neat and they're different, and I think that kind of makes up for the kind of tweener status, if you will.
Well, and the end result of this match is they're the much more established characters, much more established characters on the roster, so they're going to get cheered. But walking out of it, Oni and Birch were much more over than when they walked in.
And sometimes you don't have to win a match to get over. And
that was a clear example of all right, that worked and helped push them further along than they were.
Yeah. Sometimes a loss can actually do more for you than winning. And especially if you're baby faces, it can really do wonders for you if it's kind of like you kind of get fucked out of something in the end or cheated or something to that effect, right? But it's or if you know how to sell what happened to you and carry that forward.
And they told the great story of without the foot on the ropes, without Adam Cole putting the foot on the ropes, and they would have won with that gnarly doomsday European uppercut device. That was cool. Really enjoyed that match. Amazing way to kick off the night.
Man, I always said and my thing was hey, if I'm not going on last, I want to go on first. Put me on first. I'll set the pace for the rest of this night. And if you started off with
follow that.
If you go out there and you set the pace early and you put on a good match, you get the crowd into it from the jump. It makes everybody else's job easier as well. It should.
Or harder, but either way, that's your job.
Yeah.
All right. So guess what? I want to talk about Black and Lars Sullivan because I really enjoyed it.
I did too. I thought it was great. And
really liked it.
And here's the thing too. I even liked there was kind of like a hiccup with the kick towards the finish.
Yeah.
And I thought that worked.
Here's what it did. It showed how seasoned Black is.
Right.
Because did not panic whatsoever. That dude is ready, man. He has figured out exactly what it is that he's doing. He's got a hard-hitting style that can... It was believable that he was in that fight with Lars Sullivan.
Sure.
Because of his style, because of his look, because of the beard, the hair, the tattoos and everything. Yeah. It was like, okay, this is a fight. And I don't know who's going to win this fight. That's what I thought, watching it. And I was really, really looking forward to seeing that, to see what Aleister Black could pull out of Lars Sullivan. And that's not a knock on Sullivan.
No, but he's a little inexperienced, right? But he also I thought he stepped up, and I thought he was impressive, and I thought I was looking forward to this too, because I like it when different styles like this have the opportunity to mesh.
And, or are they going to? And the big question mark going into it. And that's what I really like about Black right now. It's his job, man. He's the flag bearer, and it's his job to be able to get in with whoever is on that roster and pull them up to his level.
Yeah.
And And then it's also up to that person to step up to it. And with the amount of experience or lack of experience that Sullivan has, man, he stepped up. And
that's what we talked about.
Talk about that, whatever.
And that's what we talked about.
A nanosecond out of a 20-minute match.
Right, and it made sense, too, because he was having his leg worked on. And, like, who's to say he didn't turn around and his leg buckled, or he was trying to get out of the way and his leg buckled. I thought it added some realism to the match, actually. And
honestly, who's to say his jaw wasn't broken from the knees or from the kicks earlier? I mean, and he just stumbled. Yeah, who cares?
If everything looks too smooth, then it's there's a risk of it looking choreographed, and that's not what you want. You want people to be in the fight and believe that they're watching a fight, and things like that happen. It does happen. And, going back to what you said is with Alistair, raising guys up, we've talked about in the past, the sign of a true good worker is having somebody work up to your level, not working down to theirs if they're not at your level yet. That's the sign of a good worker. And
I'm going to tell you something here. I'm throwing it down. People always ask me, and to the point of like, man, if you could wrestle somebody on the current roster, how often do you get asked that?
I got asked. My daughter asked me today.
Yeah. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah. So I get asked it a lot. Yeah.
Well, okay. Now I have the answer. Because before it was like, Rollins, Balor. It would definitively be Black.
Yeah?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. Because watching him, I'm like, oh man, I could.
Yeah. Work some of your magic.
Nah, some of my black magic.
Yeah, well, okay, going with that, who I would work as a heel, because I always did my best work as a heel?
Johnny Gargano.
I'd work that little fucking Johnny Gargano fucker.
Oh, that little Johnny 5-star. Johnny, kick him into ding-ding, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that main event match with Gargano and Ciampa.
I knew we were going to get there. I just had to give the others their props.
Yeah, no, it was a great show. No,
I know we're missing some, but
we're limited time here.
We apologize, but damn Ciampa and Gargano. Flex.
I thought that they obviously, like, I love Ciampa coming out to no music, his demeanor, the way that he doesn't break from at all the heel character. And I said it many times in the past, if anybody wanted to stand out on NXT, just be a pure heel. And that's what this guy is doing. And people really hate him, and doesn't have any redeeming qualities about him. And I like the way that they paced the match. It was different than anything else that was on the show. It was a good old school street fight with kind of new school twists on it.
Yeah,
like, they did some really cool, innovative stuff, but the pacing was very old school.
Well, here's back to Ciampa real quickly. He doesn't do anything fancy.
Nope,
doesn't at all, and I love it. When he gets his biggest heel heat, it's when he just curb stomps or throws those forearms to the back of the neck, or, when he was trying to put in that submission and just started like hammering down those forearms to the back of her. That's when he gets his heat, is just old school stomping heel. And when he kind of goes vacant and looks off in the distance, or he has a lot of really good nuances. And I thought they, like you said, they added some really cool touches on this. I think, the tearing apart of the ring and then leaving it and coming back to it. But before all of that, I think
the chair on the stairs thing was pretty cool. Like when he put the chair on his neck and threw him into the stairs, it was vicious, but it was different. Yeah, and just it was a fight, And I don't.
Gargano really brought something different this time. He didn't do his usual kind of baby face thing. It was much more.
It was baby face with an edge.
It was much anger. Even the way he sold was angry, if that makes any sense. He wasn't looking up at the camera. He wasn't, pulling people in like he normally does. It was a kind of a head down. And
that's also understanding understanding the story that you're telling, understanding the business that you're trying to do, understanding your character, understanding what the crowd it needs to really get out of this match.
Yeah.
Like with a year-long build, you need to, at that point, understand what it is you're trying to express to the audience, and they both understood it.
What I loved was the taking off of the wedding ring.
Oh, that was amazing.
Throw,
yeah,
it really set up that white noise. I think that's what it's called. And I also loved horrible, by the way.
Yeah, no, it
looked like it hurt.
It looked vicious, and also I really like John just sitting up there like stewing almost, or contemplating, or like I said, almost out of having an out-of-body experience, so to speak, just wondering, even kind of touching his finger where the wedding ring just got ripped off of and things like that, just really taking their time with the emotions of it.
And being his own worst enemy in the end because of that.
Yep.
And not corralling his temper and all of those things is what in the end cost him the match. And here's hoping that when all of these talents get up to the WWE, they get the same canvas, because man, it's so hard to transition, and we've seen it. My gosh, with almost everybody who's made the switch, that the canvas just, it's not the same, and it can be really hard. It's a different thing on SmackDown and Raw, and you can tell, as evidenced by I don't know how else to put it, but you get to see what they do at NXT, and then it changes. Now a lot of that is live TV and all of those things, and we won't get into all that. But here's hoping that somehow they can correct that, whatever that is, or whatever is in that process that is causing things to really work in NXT and not work quite so much in WWE.
Yeah.
All right. So stellar stuff. And
good show.
Yeah, it was. Now, hey, we got our guest tonight who can be, let's say it, long-winded. So we're gonna get to him here pretty soon. So we should get through Money in the Bank here and talk about it. We should
talk about, since we both actually watched wrestling this week, we should probably talk about it.
Yeah,
it's probably a good idea. Yeah. So it was the big one. Money in the Bank.
Yeah. It was. It was the big one. I tell you what, I know what I want to start off with. I want to start off with Seth Rollins versus Elias.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed it. And I really, really enjoyed it. And here was my takeaway from it.
Uh-huh.
That 30-second, move on the dive into the barricade, into the post, into the stairs, up, flying elbow. That's where Elias needs to live more often.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good match, and
that's the thing too. His character is so strong that people don't realize he can actually go.
They forget.
Yeah, it's one of those things, because the whole as soon as he strums his guitar, people react, and he could probably just skate on how strong the character is and how good he is at portraying that character and how confident he is in playing that character. But and sometimes the character's so good it overshadows the fact that he's pretty damn good in the ring too.
It's like New Day, like we've talked about with New Day, where it's they're having these matches with Usos, and it's like, oh yeah, they're great.
They can go.
You just, like you said, sometimes the character can overshadow. But I really, really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a great moment for him to show people hey, now I can hang with whoever you put me in with, because he's hanging with Rollins, who is this generation's pick the name. He's this generation's Bret Hart, or this generation's Shawn Michaels, or this whatever it is. He's that.
Yep.
And he hung with him, and it was I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. Very much. What did you think of I like the fact there was 2 Money in the Bank matches, one for the women, one for the men, instead of multiple ones, because that can be a little difficult. I thought the women's match was, I thought it was well structured. I thought it was the spots and all that were really good. The only thing, if I'm nitpicking, and you know how I nitpick,
I know what you're going to say,
is that the selling was good too, but it's the in between selling. To me, you build the drama of the match as the match progresses, and you're accumulating damage from getting hit with the ladders and the objects, and you're taking bumps, you're getting thrown over the ropes and all these different things.
The cell becomes longer, the climb
becomes longer, the drama, you're building the drama to get up there. But if everybody's moving at the same pace they were moving at the start of the match, you take away some of that drama, to me. And I just found that a lot. I found it in the men's match as well. It wasn't just the women's. It's like just slow down a little bit.
It's cool when it starts off quick and they're climbing up the ladders quick at the beginning. That makes sense.
But you're also throwing away you're throwing away you're throwing away what the ladders are, like what the danger is. You're forgetting that.
Yeah. And
what you're having to overcome to win this match. You know, the damage that it takes, the toll that it takes in your body to win this match. And
I get not doing the slow climb every time because that gets old and all of that. But by 3/4 in, it has to look like it's a struggle.
Or if you're moving 100 miles an hour and then you get to the ladder and then you start climbing slow, it's like, well, you were just moving really fast 3 seconds ago. Why are you climbing so slow now? You know, it's there has to be that continuity, if you will.
Well, and it goes back to the, like we talked about with Velveteen Dream there. Mm-hmm. You know, it all has to match. So, but I will say, considering 8 people being involved, because 8 people involved is just cluster written all over it. I remember the first year we did it, I believe it was WrestleMania 23, and I remember telling anyone who would listen, it's not going to be as good with 8 people, because it's going to feel rushed.
Yep.
And it's just not, you're not going to be able to build the drama that you can with 6. Right. And it's doable, but it's much more of a thing. And they did it. They really did.
No, they did a great job. It's like I said, if I'm nitpicking it and you're always working for a reaction, right? If you're trying to maximize the reactions, that's how you can do it.
Yes. I enjoyed the women's Money in the Bank more.
I did too.
Yeah, I thought it was, I just liked it better. But here's what I will say from that. It reminded me, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, WrestleMania 25 in Houston, when you bounced off the ropes and came back up and you saw the people. Every time Becky Lynch touched that ladder, the audience clearly let everyone know who they wanted to win that match.
Right, yeah.
There has to... At some point, someone has to look at that and go, man, they want this. And there's only so long that you can keep turning your head on it. When you see an entire audience rise, every time that performer starts to climb, they're sending you a message. And it's similar to the message that got sent with Daniel Bryan, and it's similar to whatever over the years. And I truly hope that... Again, we've talked about it, with certain performers. For whatever reason, the people are invested in Becky. They feel like she's one of them, I think. And, you got to pull that trigger at some point. And I know she's been champion and all of those things, but it never really got the fair shake that I think people want to see her get. And you're proof positive that when that happens, an audience starts to get behind you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there you go.
Yep.
Although I did think it was very cool what they did later on, and now we can get to that match between Nia and Ronda Rousey, who once again,
she's impressive. She did really good. Yeah, I thought both women were amazing. I thought Nia, it actually had a really kind of big fight feel to it right at the start. And the crowd was invested in it. And I think, too, like I said, as far as the Ronda goes, I think the people appreciate that how seriously she's taking it. Like we talked about before, like she's made it clear she's not just showing up to get a paycheck. Like she wants to do this. She loves it. So I think that, and that's showing, like the effort that she's putting in, going out there and being a pro and like selling the way that she's selling, and she's bringing a little kind of like the MMA kind of hybrid style with her. You know what I mean? Like she's making stuff,
that judo throw.
She's making all that stuff work, and it's impressive. And she's just very much. I haven't seen anybody like Kurt kind of pick it up the way that fast from kind of the outside coming in from somewhere else. And I've never seen anybody pick it up as fast as Kurt, but she's kind of right there as far as kind of having the instincts and the feel for it,
Well, that was the analogy I was going to draw, but think of it in these terms. Kurt was doing it on little indie shows against you in Massachusetts. She's doing it on WrestleMania and Money in the Bank. And all of that being said, Nia was an amazing opponent for her because there ain't no harm in selling for Nia. And she showed that she can sell, and now going forward, if she sells it, it's not going to in any way take away from the Ronda Rousey-ness of her. Do you know what I mean? She sold her ass off for a while and got tossed around, and Nia's the perfect person for that. I thought the cash-in was good. Could have happened a little quicker, to make it seem a little more urgent. But
I think she could have done a little more damage too with the briefcase before she turned and cashed it in. You know what I mean? Like she did more damage to Ronda than she did to Nia. Almost it seemed, and.
And it kind of left Nia hanging a little bit.
Right.
I thought. I was like, what? This needs to speed up or something. But it still worked.
It worked.
And, so
and it was perfect. It was perfect way to get around having to have Ronda. Obviously, you don't want her to lose, and you don't. I don't know if she necessarily needs to win at this point. So it's kind of the perfect way to skate around that, and also get some heat on Alexa, who's a great little heel.
Every time you say great little heel.
Yeah.
Great little heel.
Well, because she's little.
I know. Okay, all right. Yeah. Now, I know we probably got Rhino waiting in the wings, chomping at the bit. So what else do you want to get to from it?
Well, I don't know. Do we want to talk about the men's Money in the Bank?
I mean, we can talk about that. I don't think Strowman needs it. It seems kind of like backward to me. I'm like, really? Why do you give it to the guy who's... You know what I mean? Like you give that to Balor. You have somebody like that who, I mean, Strowman. Like, okay, so he can come in at the end of a match. So if he does that to Brock, well, okay, so he needed to do that in order to beat Brock. I don't know. It
maybe
make a lot of sense to me.
Maybe he gives it to his tag team partner that he had at WrestleMania, and that kid wins the world title.
No, what was his name? Nick the Kid, or whatever his name was?
Nick the Kid,
Nick the Kid. Nick the Kid. I don't know. I just thought that's a match, and that's an instance that can it can add another player into your mix. Strowman's already one of them. So why not have Balor, now into that? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I
agree. Or Miz, or, just...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that was my take.
No, my take. Or put it on somebody like Rusev or something. Just somebody that could actually use the. Yeah, he doesn't need it. Like
the rub.
He's going to be just fine.
Well, also however tall they say he is, he's like 6'8". They say 7 feet, whatever. Yeah. Like he's massive. He doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, so that was that. We got Rhino.
Before we get to Rhino, before we get to Rhino, I just want to say, I went to the Royal Albert Hall and saw the second night of the UK Championship tournament.
Hey, I tell you what, let's talk about it on the end.
I'm going to talk about it at the end. I was going to say.
Let's talk about it at the end.
All right. You don't get to say that. I get to say it. I'm going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it in the end. I run the show.
No, you don't.
Dollar Shave Club. Yes. That Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. You name it. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that'll leave your tush feeling tingly clean. I'm a big fan of their amber and lavender calming body cleanser. Never smelled anything like it. Good luck finding a product like that at the store. Not going to happen, Birdman.
Nope. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club products for just $5. You can get their daily essential starter set. It comes with body cleanser, one wipe Charlie's, and you know how I love my one wipe Charlie's, brother.
I know you do.
Oh, yeah, they're amazing butt wipes. They're great, too. Their world-famous shave butter and their best razor, the 6-blade executive. That is a good one. Get you right in the areas we get all the bumpies. That's where I got to get them, get sensitive skin. That helps out a lot.
All the bumpies didn't need to hear that. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need for the bathroom. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/awesomeness.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/awesomeness. And yes, the bumpies. I don't like the bumpies. I'm very sensitive in my skin area. That'd be all over my body.
Entire body, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rhino, where are you, Rhino? Rhino. Hey, this is what I'm going to tell you. Jay kept you on hold. I was like, we got to get to Rhino. He was like, no, I don't. I was trying, just so you know. And when you listen to this back, if you ever do, you will know that I was making the effort. My good friend, my good compadre. How's that beard, by the way?
It's pretty sweet. I'm thinking about shaving some sideburns in. Ditching the beard, leaving some sideburns.
No, don't do it. You go for that Danzig look.
Right?
like a 300-pound Danzig.
You can't stop the Rhino.
All right, we got to explain that. Guys? We got to. What's going on, Rhinus?
What are you doing?
Nothing, man. Just living the dream, living on my boat. Really embrace the boating life full force.
It's only been like 15 years in the making.
What do you mean embraced it now? Like the 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you were like, so my boat needs a little bit of work here, needs a little bit of work there. Let's go to my boat, Adam. Let's go for a sail.
Yeah. Well, I sold my house and now I'm living on my boat. So,
are you seriously?
I joined a boat club. I've got clothes that I really haven't gotten into the Hawaiian shirts, but
do wear deck shoes?
Wait, wear that. Yeah.
You actually live on a boat now?
Yeah, and it's not even in the water yet.
Okay,
I'm almost there. Right when it hits the water, then I've really embraced the boating life. Well, I have two boats. I have a wooden one, and then the one you were on, the Chris Craft. So the Chris Craft is the one that I'm staying on, but I have to do some painting on it before I put it in the water, and I'm putting in some air and heat, so I have to drill holes in the bottom of the boat. And I tried to do it when it was in the water, and they're like, "You're going to have to haul that thing out." I'm like, well, wish I was a little more experienced at hooking up air conditioning on boats. So that was actually a joke. I didn't try to drill holes in the bottom of the boat. You guys are probably going, man, this guy's really been hitting that hard.
Maybe you should live on a boat then, Rhino.
Yeah.
So you're Captain Ron, or you're
something like that. Well, actually, I'm going for in the boat club. What's that? Oh yeah, I think it was Captain Ron. The movie you're talking about,
right? Yeah. Well, there was the movie Captain Ron, Kirk Douglas, and there was also what was Gary Sinise's name in Forrest Gump?
Yes, I'm drawing a blank, but Captain Dan.
Captain Dan. So you're Captain Ron. You're Captain Dan. In the winter, do you wear like a pea coat and like really have that beard in heavy with the anchors on the buttons?
I got my little pipe ready to go.
Yeah.
For winter time. Yeah, I'm all for it, brother. I got my rain jacket. Look like the fisherman guy.
You were a slicker?
Handy camp, I think it is.
You were a slicker?
What's that?
Do you wear a slicker?
I don't know what that is. But
it's like the whole rain outfit with the jacket and the hat and the whole.
Oh, of course. It was raining earlier today, but I didn't venture out in the rain. So
how do you get your mail?
You know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How do you get your mail? That's what I'm interested in.
Actually, I got a P.O. box, and then I use my sister-in-law's address. So for the IRS. Because if you have a P.O. box with the IRS, it kind of throws up red flags. And they're like, why is this guy using a P.O. box?
Who's
weird.
the giant bearded guy in the slicker living on a boat that wrestles for the WWE? Yeah, I can see that.
You know what else would throw up red flags? The IRS. Me calling them and telling them you're invading taxes.
He's close to Canada, so he could just untie his boat and go right to Canada. You'll never get his money. Yeah. So get him.
Get him now.
So, yeah. So, no, but all seriousness, my passion for boating, and it's something I always wanted to do. And I wanted to move to a different part of Detroit, so I figured I'd sell my house in the summer, spend it on the water, and just, and so kind of homeless, living on a boat. It doesn't really sound good.
Actually, you know what? It kind of sounds great.
It is.
You know, I
there's no stress.
Yeah.
None.
yeah.
No bills.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And that helps for you because you're cheap as hell, right?
Right.
So, like,
Oh,
do you have like the boat parked in like a you know,
A
a
slip,
dollar
yeah.
store parking lot or something?
No, but that's actually a good idea.
That's
It'd
not
probably
bad,
be
right?
cheaper. Hey, can I rent some space out in your parking lot?
It says dollar store, so I thought maybe for $1. Yeah, that's worth a shot.
I like you.
So-
I'll throw you two.
So let's take everybody right to the very beginning of our relationship, because otherwise you're going to start saying long story short, and then 2 hours later we're going to be here and there's going to be no end in
And
sight.
nothing, right?
Nothing accomplished. This all starts, Rhinus Richards, when you and I, with Terry Morgan, we picked you up in Detroit, and Terry Morgan had a big juicy mustache, and you and I drove down to Florida together to do some tapings for WCW. That's where we first met.
Right.
And then
I remember you had a black leather jacket on, your long, beautiful blonde hair.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Actually,
We'll get to this. We'll get to the story of me being the first person you spooned with, but before that, so I come back and I remember telling Jay and these guys, you know, there's this kid, you know, Terry Richards. He works as Terry Richards, Guido Guerin up there. He's really good, and we would do shows in Detroit, and we would run into you there, stay at your place, and then when we started to go to Winnipeg, we started, you know, hey, there's this guy that's really good, and then lo and behold, we all became, you know, basically, you know, road partners, you know, going to all of these different indies, and it was kind of like a bit of a pack, I guess.
Yeah. And then I remember for Malcolm in Detroit, I worked with Christian, and that's, you know, you guys seen that I had a good attitude and I wanted to help out, and that's what really sealed the deal is Christian. But I come to find out that he's really a prick.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's kind
funny.
of a known thing on this podcast. Rhino I get a bad
But in a good
rap.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got
Yeah, I remember when we used to drive when we would go to Winnipeg. We would drive halfway for some reason to get you in London, and your cousin or somebody would drive you
the other half.
The other half
there,
to London, and we would meet at some McDonald's. And we would drive you back, and then we'd jump on a plane and fly to Winnipeg from Toronto for some reason. But
but we also flew out of, I think,
Hamilton.
London, or Hamilton.
Yeah.
Was it Hamilton? Yeah.
I think the first time we flew out of Hamilton, and I remember when I told you this story. This was probably after about a year knowing you, because, you know, to your listeners, back then we'd have to front the money for the ticket, and then the promoter would reimburse us, right?
Hopefully.
So I gave you guys the money in Detroit. And then I thought, because, now my cousin is taking me up to where you were staying. You were renting out a room or the basement edge. And
I was in a basement.
And then I come around back, and then I knocked on the door. There was no answer. And I'm like, oh, man, they took me for $150. There was no plane ticket that they bought and stuff like that. So I go back around, and I'm going to go, and it was my cousin's friend dropped me off, and I'm like, I'm going to have egg on my face, and here you come around the corner. You had to drop your car off to get it fixed. Do you remember that?
Well, that car was in constant need of something.
Right.
That was
and
my
then I
life
didn't have
then.
the
I was
heart-
like, whatever I made was to put into
Going
that
in
car
that.
to get to the next wrestling show.
Right. And then I didn't have the heart to tell you that I thought, you guys, took me for $150, and then I told you, and you were upset. You're like, how could you think that? And I'm like, well, I didn't really know you guys that well, but yeah.
But hey,
anyway.
let's at this point, you're now called Rhino Richards. We named you Rhino. So what do you mean?
And,
we gave you your moniker, your handle, your badass name.
That was after that.
Was it?
that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Terry Richards was up there. Yeah, so that came.
Well,
after
you're
that.
welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Actually, I've never really told this. Let me jump fast forward for a second.
Do it.
When all three of us, the first time I went to WWE, because I'd watch you guys and I'd support you. I'd keep an eye on what you guys were doing. It was entertaining. It was great, and and talking to you guys, all the struggles you guys had. When you first got there and you had to carve your own path and everything. But you guys were already there, right? You guys were already the show, and then when we first walked out together, I think it was in Rhode Island, Albany. You guys were a couple steps ahead of me, and you guys are doing your character. And for some reason, from the pyro, there was a smoke, so there was a haze over the arena, and it was sold out. And it was just like a surreal moment. I felt like I was watching myself on TV. I'm standing behind you guys. I marked out a little bit. I'm like, this is pretty effing cool, right? And Christian's doing his things with big glasses, and you're doing your thing, and you got your jacket and everything. And I'm like, holy effing shit, this is the real deal, So, but yeah, I never told that. I just was thinking about that earlier today when you asked me to jump on the podcast.
Well, and I think it was the Dudley's pyro that had finished going off, and that's why we're walking through that smoke. But that's a pretty cool moment. And I mean, we'll get to it, but I just remember thinking also, like, all right, here's our buddy who was our buddy before any of us made it. And here we are. And he's our heavy now. This is cool. This is fun. Yeah. Christian, get the motherfucking Rhino.
Yeah.
And
fuck yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we're doing Tony Candela. Yeah, we can cuss. We just did.
Oh, wait, I know. I'm thinking, wait, are they bleeping that? I felt bad for saying the S word, and I'm like, okay, keep it clean, whatever. All right, now gloves are off.
I remember we went to, and I think we've talked about Tony Candelo on this podcast before. He was a little Italian promoter, like 5'5", little pot belly.
Looked like Papa Geppetto from Pinocchio.
Yeah, curly hair.
but
and
fatter.
We had talked to him about bringing you in, and like, he's a big guy. He moves really well. He's a great worker, all this stuff. We really put you over. And then finally he said, okay, bring him, we'll book him. So when you flew to Winnipeg with us, we introduce you. You jump in the car, and I'm standing at the back of the car with Tony. Tony goes, "Hey, you prick!" I was like, "What?" He goes, "You told me this guy was 7 foot." I said, "What?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You told me he was a giant. You told me he was 7 foot." I said, "I never said he was 7 foot. I said he was a big guy." He goes, "You didn't say that. You said he was a giant." And he looks at me, he goes, "He's still pretty fucking big, though." We got in the car. That was the first impression of you.
Just look at his quads, Tony. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. I got a visitor. named Lyric. Do you want to say hi to Uncle Rhino?
Hi.
Say hi, Uncle Rhino.
Hi.
Say hi.
How are you?
Okay, I got to go see what she's doing. Hold on.
All right.
Oh, man, this means I have to talk to you alone for a minute? This is awkward.
This is awkward. For you and me both.
What are you doing on your boat, man? Do you wear water wings on the boat? Do you wear a life preserver at all times, or like, what do you do?
I got the big orange life preservers and the rings that go around the arm. I had them custom made.
Is your boat a canoe?
Okay, there. So Lyric snuck out and came out to the apartment and wanted to say hi. I think that was her way of, just because I can't say goodnight tonight, so I think that was her way of so she got to say hi to Uncle Rhino, though.
There it is.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we were talking about Tony Candelo, how he thought I was 7 foot. Boy,
you thought you were 7 footer, yeah.
He's just bigger than a midget. What do you mean?
Giant midget. Yeah.
But here was the thing, and from jump, the first time I saw you work, I was like, "Mo, this dude is like thick, but he can move." Like you got a certain crispness that a lot of people don't have and just can't have, because for whatever reason you have it. For a guy your size, because I mean, you've been anywhere from, like, what's the heaviest you were at one point?
Probably 325.
Oh.
325.
400, 405. I was going for 405. I'm going to start my own group.
Yeah. Well, for a big guy, you don't got much of a chest.
Right.
But what are you, like, 6 feet, 325 at one point, but yet, like,
right.
moving, like, you hit the ropes, you attack the buckles, like, you always had that explosiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason, I thought to myself, you know what, I don't know if it was just watching Japan tapes and stuff like that, and maybe someone over there kind of, sparked it in me, but I figured, you know what, I got to attack the ropes, because, like you said, the crispness, it does make a difference, when you're watching it, whether it's live or on TV. So, but yeah, so that's what I'd try to do, so be quick on my feet, but try not to fall on my face.
That, and I think we also created some theme music for you too, right?
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
You can't stop the Rhino.
Do you remember
for whatever reason? It was Mantar, wasn't it? Didn't you used to do the woo thing?
Yeah, I used to do the woo. I thought I'd be creative, and I kind of came up with that, but it was kind of like what Mantar would do, right? And then
yes.
you guys like laughed, and you're like, yeah, that's cool.
That's brutal.
Yeah, but you guys laughed, and yeah, that's real good. Do that out there. It'll really get over.
Please
make
do
sure
it
you're
there
not
so we can
standing
make
near
fun
us.
of you.
Right, and don't stand near us while you do it. But anyways, you remember I wanted to try and make. I was actually thinking of Malcolm earlier, and I tried to explain him because I wanted to do. This is when we started doing the Thug Life thing in Detroit, and I wanted to kind of have something like ring gear walking out, but I wouldn't wear a robe or something like that. So I bought some furry stuff, and I was going to make a thing like a cape over or whatever, like a half shirt or something, and trying to explain it to Malcolm. And that's when I was doing woo, whatever, and he goes, I go, yeah, it's like this furry thing, and I'll have some around my wrist, and this and that, and he's like,
we should talk about this first. First off, we should talk about Malcolm Monroe was the local promoter in Detroit, and he kind of had like a high pitched type voice to him, right?
Voice,
yeah. But he was a really nice guy. Yeah,
Thug Life was the name that we bit
of our faction
from I think Tupac, and that was the name of our faction, was Thug Life.
Yeah.
So anyway, now that's explained, go on. Malcolm's got a high pitched voice. He had a blonde fro.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome fro. And I'm trying to explain it to him. Hopefully I can explain my vision. And he looks at me. He goes, "Furry." Furry? Rhino's not furry. You mean
Rhino's ain't furry?
Ron furry? and
he's got a point. Rhinos aren't furry.
They aren't.
I'm like, yeah, you got the point. The woo, and probably not going to get over. The furry Rhino ain't going to get over.
What it boils down to is that you have a strange infatuation with Mantar.
Right. And you guys saved me from embarrassing myself. You guys and Malcolm on many occasions.
I think it comes down to probably a quad heat thing, between you and Mantar. You both got those quads, so it's like you're secretly kind of infatuated with each other. Yeah.
So, but anyways, by the way, I love how you guys pick on Dreamer. It's just so entertaining.
Tommy.
You don't listen to this podcast, do you, Rhino?
What's that? I'll tune into podcasts here and there.
Yeah,
he just stooged himself off. He listens to it.
Drive.
You know what he does? He rides with old Heath Slater there.
Talk about me. What's that?
he rides with old Heath Slater there, and they just they sit there and they just listen to us and go, man, those guys, they're so funny.
Those guys are cool,
awesome.
Yeah, Slater's always telling me how he's a tag team specialist. I'm like, no, let's turn on some tag team specialists. E&C.
Man, I still want to slap you.
But anyways, So then,
what are you doing there? What are you doing?
we're trying to wire up the
What's a wire? What are you doing?
AC.
Are you putting in the AC in your boat right now?
Well, no, I my buddy Ron, he's hooking it up for me. I started
right
to,
now
and
as
he's
we
like,
speak.
you know what? Yeah, as we speak, we're working on the Patsy Ann.
The Patsy Ann.
The Patsy Ann. That's the name of your boat, Patsy Ann.
Yeah, come on, don't make fun of it.
That's a brutal name, man. Like,
Well,
what is wrong with you? First of all, woo, and now the Patsy Ann. You can't come up with anything better than the Patsy Ann.
Jeez.
Well, I didn't come up with it. It's bad luck to rename a boat, right?
Is
and
it?
Now I'll tell this. Yeah, there's ways around it. You could do like a voodoo dance and all that stuff. But anyways,
I would get Papa Shango if I were you, and I would get that voodoo dance and start puking up some pea soup because the Patsy Ann is not good.
Well, this guy, if people are cruising in the marina looking for me, they're not going to look on the Patsy Ann, so that's another way to deter people from stalking me.
Oh, I see.
But,
well,
see, so there's a method to my madness. But no, the lady that owned it, her husband had passed away, and that's why she was selling the boat. Her kids didn't want it, and then her name was Pat Ann, so he named it Patsy Ann. So I was kind of like, hey, you mind if I keep it the same name? Because I wouldn't have to pay to have it changed, and I wouldn't have to do a voodoo dance. And then she started to tear up, and I'm like, oh, now I can never rename it. So that's why I kept it the Patsy Ann.
I mean, I personally would like to see you do a voodoo dance. So there's that. But
that right there is the
fine. I guess it's the Patsy Ann. Okay. Rhino.
How do I even say the name?
I know, you're just stooging yourself off. Okay, so now there's Winnipeg, there's the Indies. We're all riding together. We're traveling together. We're making fun of you when we eat by making all the food noises when you chew and you get angry. And then we're going through lakes and you're crying and you're praying and you're rocking back and forth in the seats like, the Rain Man. And all of these things happen, which you'll deny. Have been talked about on multiple podcasts, and you're owning up to it. You are.
Yeah, I'll own up to it. I'm 42. What else? I don't have much to lose. Lost my youth.
Yeah,
I'm losing the color in my hair.
Oh my goodness!
Slowly turning white.
You're not losing your hair though. You're not losing.
No, I'm not.
Hold on.
Thank God.
You always had supple skin and a strong hairline. I'll give you that.
Exactly.
Supple.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
It does.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be out there. We'd be wrestling in northern Manitoba. These little tiny shows, driving across the frozen lakes. And what were your thoughts on those times?
Actually, because we had a good group of guys, and hanging with you guys, and you guys made it fun. So, I mean, if we had a different crew, then I don't think it would have been tolerable. But just, you're around good people. You're doing something you love. You're not making any money, but your goal is to get to where you can make a living and then, keep on moving forward and that stuff and reach a lot of people and entertain a lot of people. And the financial part will come. But, and so, I mean, and we had youth on our side too. So, I mean, with that being said, I mean, it was a lot of fun, but it was dangerous. I mean, you guys know, we almost died, and I think we were in 19, 20, 21, 22, right around there. And it's just, and right before we were getting ready to break and everything. And, we had a lot to lose. So, and plus we didn't do anything, we weren't out partying. We weren't out, being destructive with our behavior. So, I mean, as far as personally, so it was a lot of fun. Let's be honest,
there was nowhere to party, man.
Right. And no money to party.
Right.
There was no money to party. There was nowhere to party. But because of that, I
was trying to throw out a good message for kids right there. Like, wow, they didn't party. Oh, that's why they didn't party, because they were broken.
But we, to your point, is we did have a great time. We all loved hanging out together, and that's what we did. We hung out and we watched tape, and Yeah.
My favorite thing was when we'd stay at that shitty Continental Hotel in Winnipeg.
Yep.
And they'd always put us in that back corner in the upstairs part, and we'd always kind of like 5-6 rooms that were around each other, and when we were there, we just leave the doors open, and everybody just kind of walk in and out of each other's rooms, and we would all be hanging out. And my favorite thing would be like you would just randomly walk in with your giant tidy whities on.
Right.
And a towel wrapped around her, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" You just had these tiny whiteys hiked up and flip-flops on.
Then it ramped up even more. Yes, the flip-flops. But then it got to the point where you would walk him in with one finger.
Yeah.
You don't remember this, do you?
I do.
He'd be holding on to your one finger like he was a gorilla coming in with these tiny whities and a towel on his head. It was
like a
so
trained
disturbing.
gorilla.
Yeah, it was.
You would introduce me as your pet gorilla.
Yeah.
You're like, up here on the chair, and I'd hop up on the chair.
Yeah, and these are the things that we did.
And you pretend to pick bugs out of my hair and eat them. Remember?
Right. Maybe we should have did drugs. We probably would have acted normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I think back to that stuff. There's no way I would contemplate doing it now. But at that time, we were actually having fun. But when you think back and think about the actual circumstances, there's no way that should have been fun. But it just was, because like you said, it was a good crew. It was a great crew of guys, and
there was like an innocence about it too, right? Because it was, we were just trying to learn our craft, and we were just trying to get in the ring, and we were just it was life experiences, and we were hungry, and we were having a good time doing this stuff together, and that's kind of what made it special.
Exactly, and there was nobody up there had a bad attitude, because sometimes one person with a bad attitude could start up a lot of crap, and it could make it miserable. But everybody was on the same page, and and the people turned out for the shows, and we entertained them, and so. But sometimes how it was, if there was a death on the reservation, the whole place shut down, or for days, right? So you drive and you get to a place, and very unfortunate, something like that happens, but. Oh, well, but we always made the best of it, which was good. So, and we learned, too. We learned off of each other.
And that was the thing. And that can be difficult, because you got a bunch of guys who are essentially the same experience, but it was just ring time, and it was reps, and it was, eventually I think when we really learned was when we were able to branch out and you get to ECW and, start doing your thing there, because that all started to happen. And I remember thinking, oh, man. Like, he's going to get noticed now. This is, once people get a load of this guy, they're really going to be impressed. And sure enough, before long, you're ECW champion.
Yeah, that was pretty quick too. But
I mean, talk about that. They're pretty quick. Fill us in, man. It's a podcast. It's pretty quick. Moving on.
I get to that. But
anyways, usually you can't. Usually it takes you like an hour to tell a 3-minute story, and now you're just brushing past things.
Yeah, I became ECW champion pretty quick. All right, whatever. Now what?
How did the whole ECW thing happen?
You guys are probably thinking, well, man, this guy really changed in his age. Where was this guy back then? Hell, we couldn't shut him up, then when we want to. But, it's one of those things where you guys went to WWE and you guys were fucking tearing it up. And then, after I came back from Germany the second time, I just got in touch with Pee-wee and then the referee, John Pee-wee Moore. And then, did a couple tryouts, and Paul hired me. And next thing you know, like you said, he noticed what I had to offer, and same thing you noticed. And then he just ran with it, and he slowly, because, in that time, if you shove someone down their throat, the fan's throat in that type of atmosphere, they would reject you quickly. And Paul knew that he didn't want them to, so he slowly, once I got to the arena, then it was like, the ECW arena and work that, then it was like a rocket. So it took about, I want to say probably about 8 weeks before I worked the arena. So a couple months I was there, and then I finally worked the arena, and then it was, off to the races from there. And then probably about, I want to say a year and a half, then I was the ECW heavyweight champion. So, but yeah, it was pretty crazy though.
Well, and talk about a guy tailor-made for ECW in terms of appearance, in terms of, just being able to work a bunch of different styles.
Like stuff
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that the ECW audience is going to be like, okay, yeah, this is one of our guys, because that intensity that you bring to your stuff.
And plus, and going from the quickness, like you were pointing out earlier in conversation, people like that, and it was different, and the fans really got off on stuff like that. So,
well, and again, at that point, I don't know, guys that were over 300 didn't move with that kind of explosiveness. I mean, you see it more now with the advancements in diet and training and all of those things. But if you're looking at a guy like, I don't know, who at that time is over 300, you're talking like Vader,
probably Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam
Bam I think he went to WCW right before that. So, I mean, now that I think about it, maybe that was a void that I was filling, so.
But even before ECW, like, we went to a training camp together for WWE.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure when I looked at the crop of people there, I'm like, well, they're going to take Rhino for sure.
Yeah.
And, they didn't. They ended up hiring me and one other person, and I was shocked that nothing came out of that for you at that point in time. Everybody's road is different, but what was your takeaway from that?
Well, I think it was a blessing in disguise, because sometimes you don't see it as you're going through it,
right?
And that's that could be in anything, personal life or whatever. But I think if they did take me. Because you guys remember, you guys had to fight for me to keep my name Rhino in WWE. But they would have changed my name. Would something not have stuck? How would I have been as a person? Because I had 2 more years of growing before I went back, before I was hired with WWE. And that was what you were talking about. I think that was 98. So, things, it's just like I worked with guys that, I really couldn't move and stuff like that. And I wasn't as experienced as I could have, or I should have been, to work with guys like that, to have good matches. Then you and I had worked a match, and we had a great match, but the VHS thing was broke, so they couldn't record it. So it was just one of those things where I went back, and then I went back to Germany. After the camp, went home, went back to Germany. Then, I think it was after the camp, I want to say 6 months later, that's when I started with ECW. So, and then everything just, took off from there. But, I created, I had notoriety with the name Rhino. And then, coming in WWE, when they wanted to put us together, you guys remember they had a bunch of names, and they're like, oh, we can't patent Rhino. And then you guys were like, oh, well, use it with a Y and all that. And, it was one of those things where, if I would have gotten hired, would I have gotten lost in the mix? Would I have even gotten an opportunity? So, but in a way, it sucked, because I went home and I felt like a huge failure. And one of the greatest things my ex-wife, said to me, she's like, you're good. It just didn't work out, but don't get down on yourself. We're going back to Germany and regroup and come back stronger and better,
That was probably better than the advice I gave you when I told you you're the shits. You should quit the business.
Don't ever come back. Go buy a boat.
I think that was right. Go try to sail around the world, but you probably can't even do that, you jobber. I think that was your exact words.
I was like, now that I look contract, back whatever.
Yeah, right. A loser. Look at that loser. Go do some squats, kid.
It's an upper body business.
Yeah. Train some chest for a big guy. He ain't got much of a chest. You'd always say that to me. Like, it's funny.
Well, I always said your ass is bigger than your back. So, I mean.
Well, yeah, right. Women like thick butts and thick legs. Trying to give the ladies what they want, you know. That's all I'm doing.
Lord. So now, talk about the final days of ECW and then the transition to WWE and how that all starts to come about. Because I mean, we know it because we were part of it, but you know, for those that don't know, and then we'll get into some of your proposed names and again how we kind of all helped fight for the name Rhino.
Right. Well, coming to the end of ECW, the writing was on the wall, but you really didn't believe it, because you're like the crowds were showing up. The year on it was Spike TV. Well, it was TNN, and then later became Spike. But it was one of those things where you didn't think. That year on TV, it was starting to pay off. The attendance was going up, and you never really had bad attendance. But anyways, you were like, okay, well, Paul will pull something out of his ass. So, and it just never happened, and it was one of those things where a lot of people can relate. That girl, or, if a girl gets dumped, or a guy gets dumped out of the blue, and that's why I think a lot of fans have never been able to let it go, because it was almost out of the blue. You got dumped for no reason. It's like you can't ever get over it, So, I mean, in a way it's good, because when I was on the Indies, a lot of people, that was one of the things they really brought up a lot is ECW. And for some reason, it's good that they can't let it go, because, it kept me booked, and that and my talent. But it's milked the indie scene for a while, brother. But no, it's one of those things where it just, it was hard to wow, this is over with, And then it was a blessing, to go work for WWE, and especially to be paired up with you guys. We're back together. We went our separate ways. We gained, a lot of momentum, and here we are. And, business was good then, and everything was running, so.
Well, the funny thing is, too, like with the first time we ever met Tommy, was because of all the stories that you told him about us. So the first time we ever met him, he was like, I already feel like we're friends. And that was kind of why we hit it off so well with him. But that was another reason. Maybe without you, we wouldn't be so close with Tommy, who wouldn't be on this podcast quite a bit. Tommy.
Right. Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy. He's a great dude. Yeah. I love him. So. But, and I like when you guys pick on him and not on me.
Well, this week
I think that's why I like him so much.
With the Patsy Ann. Jesus. So now you get to you get to WWE. We all realize it's the perfect storm, because the Hardys have Lita, the Dudleys have Spike, and now we have
the Rhino.
Which honestly, if you're looking at it from a street fight perspective, I mean, we really got the best end of that deal.
Right. Well, I don't know. I've been punched by Lita before. It doesn't really feel good. And Spike's really tough.
Okay,
I've kicked him a lot, and he really didn't pass out or collapse.
On the street fight, on the street fight end of the deal, we came out ahead. On the paying your share of trans, we not so much. Yeah.
I paid my
I don't
share
have
of
any cash. I don't
I'll
have
never
any cash.
forget.
Yeah.
See, my deal is I would always pay, but I'll never forget. I always have to shower before I fly. Right? I don't know what it is. Right? To wake up, but if I'm going to shower, I'm going to lather up with lotion. You know, you got to keep a good soft skin.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, it was an early flight, and we were rooming together, and Christian, you look over, and you're just like, what are you doing? You're not getting ready for the prom. You're just flying home.
Because
what are you doing?
Production.
Get ready for the prom. Yeah, it's a huge production for me.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of skin to cover, too, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's like
Dude,
4 in the...
I've talked about it on this
4 in the
pod.
morning.
We both talked about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember it. It was Phoenix, Arizona, and it's like 3 in the morning, and all I hear is your big mitt slapping bare skin, and I'm like, this dude is pounding his munchkin right now. Like this, I'm pretty sure he's snapping a batch of ball broth over there, and I don't know how to react to this. Like, I'm gonna roll over and he's gonna have the fun out, and I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I say at this point? Like, do I run? Do I roll back over? Do I go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, all of this is going through my mind, and then I look, and you're sitting there naked on the end of the bed. This story isn't much better than what I thought it was gonna be. You got the damn towel wrapped on your head, and you are moisturizing your entire hairless Rhino body.
I'm known
never
for
roomed with you
nice
again
curls,
after that.
Yeah.
Nice curls and soft skin.
Hey,
brutal.
you know what I will say though? You haven't aged, dude. Like,
You know, a lot of people say
the
that.
rest of us have aged. You haven't. So there's that.
Well, the thing is, you got to look like shit when you're younger, so when you get older, you look like shit. And you're like, wow, you never changed. Boy, you haven't aged a bit. That's the key.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You know, everybody's going for abs when they're younger. It's like, oh, good luck with that.
You got to maintain that.
Do you realize, too, that you're still banned from my rental car for life?
How do I get out of that ban?
You don't.
I know you say it's for life, but
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
We haven't been in a rental car together since probably like early 2000s.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It saddens me
Well,
to hear that. The life ban is still on.
Yeah. Don't cross me.
So how does Slater deal with riding with you?
Yeah.
Oh, he loves it. It's his dream come true. He was a big fan of mine when he was younger, you know.
When he was,
I sign him
just a
autographs
sprite.
every once in a while.
Well,
No, he's
but
a
here's
real
the deal.
piece of crap.
He I was just going to put the guy over and say he's a great guy. And then right as it's about to fall out of my face, you say that.
You know, he's actually fun to travel with. You know, he puts up with a lot of my nonsense, the lathering of the body. You know, it puts the lotion on the skin. You know, so he's just. But one thing he's been chirping about lately is my snoring. It's like, man, you know, you snore a lot. Shit, you were snoring so much last night. Not blah 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 blah. It's like, you know, just suck it up and go to sleep. Don't tell me about my snoring. I know about it.
You might have the apnea. You might need to get one of the machines.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. That's what he said. He goes, you might need a machine. You know, 'cause,
I mean,
you know,
the beard
one time
alone might be causing you to have apnea. The weight of that just pushing back your neck, let alone your big head.
Right.
I want to slap you so.
You know what's
bad.
funny is, you know, I'll put my head in, you know, this girl's lap that I'm dating. It's just like,
oh, hold on. Well, I had no idea where that was going for a second. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'll keep
Go on.
it clean. But no, it's just, yeah, it's just like watching a movie or something on the boat, you know. It's what we do, you know. But anyways, it's just like, I'm like, man, you really don't, like, is my head really big, or do you have a small lap? And no, your head's really big. It's like, well, you didn't have to say it like that. You know, now you guys are putting over the girth of my head, and now I'm just, you know, now I'm starting to look in the mirror.
You got a huge head, man.
Yeah, I know. I cannot find hats to fit it.
all I can picture now is you in the poop deck of your boat or whatever it's called, and you're down there with your poor girl, bless her heart, with her tiny little lap and your massive head, and the boat's barely able to stay above water because of your sheer girth. Like, I picture you won't be able to get through the door because you're just like, you're the Rhino, woo, and you live on a boat, and it's
right.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty comfortable, but I do have to turn sideways to go in the cabin.
I knew it. See, I knew it.
When you said that, I'm looking at the door right now going, yeah,
damn it, he's right. How did he know? Hey, I've been on the boat. Boat, man. I've been on the Patsy.
It's been a while. You guys got to come up here, family and everything. Come up here. We'll spend the weekend.
Did you get... Is it the Patsy Klein?
I'm not coming there.
You would say that. Well, Adam, you're invited, and Jay, your family's
I've been on it a couple
invited.
times.
Stay at home. Yeah, but I've done a lot of work to it over the years. So, like, here's something for your listeners. You know, my ex-wife and I, we get along great. You know, we have a child together and this and that. But so we had this conversation. Some couples cannot have this conversation. It was a movie. It was a show about, oh, this guy was so good looking, and you know, you never seen him, and you know, and they go, oh, he's just a guy that you don't marry. You go to San Diego for the weekend. So that became a running gag, right? So then we had a conversation about who out of the friends would you date, marry, or date, never marry, or go to San Diego for the... Or no, we didn't even have San Diego for the weekend. So anyways...
okay, here comes the
story. Long story short, here it goes.
Right. She said she would marry Christian. Right?
Yeah.
And I go, really? I go, what about Ed? She goes, nah, he's one of those guys. He's too good looking. You just take him to San Diego for the weekend. So I totally popped for that. So usually when you have conversations with that in some relationship, it could turn for the worse, right? So,
it could be
after
ugly,
that, I told Adam that, and it was a running gag. He always laughed about that. But so anyways, and then we started having a conversation out of our friends, who would we marry and this and that. And I would take you to San Diego for the weekend, but I'd marry Joe. Joe makes you laugh. No offense, guys. Joe,
so you would take me to San Diego for the weekend. You would kill Jay and marry Joe. Is that
right? Exactly.
Well, I think well, it's no offense taken. That's fine. I don't want to go with you anyway. If I'm being honest, but as far as your ex-wife goes, I'm sure she wanted to marry me because she knows how much more money I have than you.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
No, but the reason why I'd want to kill you is because you got that life ban on the rent-a-car.
That's right, yeah.
That upsets me.
It all comes full circle.
It all goes back to that.
I don't care. I don't want to go.
Hey, we should talk about some wrestling.
What's that? We should talk about wrestling.
We should talk about some wrestling.
That whole wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Wrestling, who cares? We've been talking about that for the last 20 years.
True.
So, all right, now you get to WWE. I'll pull it back there. Good job, Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
You finally you make it there. We're all there. At one point, they're talking about calling you in the list of names. I don't know if you remember this, Sarah.
You remembered the awful ones and a couple of the good ones.
I remember Sarah, for fuck's sake. So that's not awful. I don't know what it is.
I was going to say, I hope that falls under the awful.
I mean, what other ones were on there? What other ones were on there that you remember?
Juggernaut.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that was a cool one. I think Mary was on there, too.
Mary,
I forgot about Mary. Oh my God, WWE creative and whatever it was. Mary.
Yeah, I don't know the direction, so that's why I'm saying it might have been good that I didn't get hired in '98.
Wow,
I could probably
Mary
be in the '90s. Yeah.
Maybe going, whatever happened to that?
Mary?
Whatever happened to that Mary guy?
Yeah.
What?
I heard he's living on a boat.
And then there was a point where they had talked about you were going to be our brother and dye your hair blonde too. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yep. And you went to him and said, well, he's already, gained some steam and momentum in WWE, and everybody ECW, everybody knows that he's not, related to us. And then you were the one, why don't you bring him in as a friend and, and Rhino and push for that. And yeah. So.
Well, to me, it just made sense. There was already some traction. You'd already been ECW champion. And like I talked about, the kind of the perfect storm and the timing of it with the Dudleys with Spike, the Hardys with Lita, and we're heading to TLC 2 at WrestleMania. I mean, it just seemed the bed was made. We just all had to, pull the sheets back. I mean, it was there, So,
right.
And so here we are now. The Dudley's pyro has gone off. We're all walking through, and you're marking out behind us, staring at our asses.
You could feel my eyeballs just burning a hole in your ass. It just really came out weird. I was trying to save it.
There's been a lot of weird on this pod already, but I knew it was going to be weird at times, but it's gotten pretty weird. Yeah.
I think that that Mania match with all the other, like I said, with Spike and with Lita, with you, I think it really added something, a different dynamic to that match too, which we needed at that point in time, and made a really cool moment. I thought when you all came out.
Yeah, I do too, and the fans would agree, and it seemed like everybody was placed, and it just seemed everything worked, and I to be part of it is just, that's something nobody can take away from you, and
well, and it really did up the ante from, the previous TLC,
right.
To have everyone come out and basically go like a tornado through a trailer park after the six of us had already done it. And then you have the three of you come out and just add these, man, I mean, by the time that match was done and you were goring people through tables and there's deadly death or acid drops through tables to the outside, just there's so much carnage. Right. And then one vision that I'll never forget is you checking on me and kind of picking me up and leaving Jay.
You go like this. You go, wait for Jay, and I'm like, wait. Yeah, I forgot.
we gotta wait for him, man. I'll never forget that. We were going to San Diego for the weekend. Houston wasn't far.
Yeah.
Like, let's get out of here. San Diego, the last flight leaves in 20 minutes.
I would have killed him, and Joe's not here, so let's go to San Diego.
But you did carry me up the ladder to retrieve the titles.
I did.
So that was a good moment. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. That was fun. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have won the titles.
That's right. Well, and remember, in trying to come up with a finish after all of that stuff, and also trying to maintain some semblance of heel.
Right.
After, how is there a heel in a TLC match? It's difficult, but how can we get that kind of reaction that we're hoping to get in terms of still being hated by the time this thing's over? And you picking up the Birdman and carrying him up on your shoulders.
The Birdman. Fly away, Jay Bird. Fly away.
Fuck. Yeah, so then, it wasn't long after that you kind of started doing, you moved into some other sort of like hardcore title. Did you have another title before the hardcore title, or was that kind of the
No, I think it was the U.S. right after the hardcore title.
Huh. But I remember you had
it was the hardcore 3 times.
Yeah, and you had a little thing with Raven. I remember in Chicago you guys had a killer... was it like a Extreme Rules fight or a match?
Yeah, that was with the shopping cart.
Yeah. No,
a lot of people. Really a lot of people really like that, and they bring that up all the time. And it's cool with the network. You can go back and watch all this stuff, and and it's fresh again. And that was the first time I won the hardcore title, and it was because they would have the 24/7, and then they would defend it. Anywhere. It could be in a, airport or, baggage claim or wherever. And right before I had gotten there, it was a big show, and I think we're still doing our thing, but Big Show and Raven and Kane, they kind of, gotten away from, all the outside, matches for the hardcore title and started to bring some legitimate legitimacy to the hardcore title. And then when I was thrown in there just with the ECW background and the matches Raven and I were having, it really kind of made it a more, instead of a fun entertaining, it kind of really set the legitimacy of the title, being more of an extreme type matches opposed to haha matches, so. But yeah, and it was pretty cool to be part of that, to kind of make it more of a serious title. So,
and I remember too the King of the Ring, and it was shortly, I guess, after all of the hardcore thing, and it was King of the Ring 2001, I believe it was, and I remember them talking about the three of us being in the Final Four, and thinking, oh man, this is pretty cool. And then Kurt being the fourth, which was, Team Wreck all told. The four of us in the semifinals of that. And I just remember thinking another cool moment, like, going back to the Winnipeg and all of those Northern Death tours. And here we are in the Meadowlands, King of the Ring semifinals, and we're getting 20 minutes to go out and have a match, and Jay and Kurt on the opposite side of that. It was just, there's been some really cool moments throughout the years that we've been able to all share together after having done all of those shows for no money and barely scraping by.
Yeah, they seen the power of Team Wreck, and that's why they kind of booked it that way. They wanted to split us up because we were forced to be reckoned with. And then, you beat me, and you went on to beat Kurt, and that was when Kurt was knocked silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think from the match with Shane.
With me,
yeah,
no, with me.
Yeah. They talked.
Did he have Shane
too,
after?
No, before.
He had 3 matches that night, right?
Yeah, I think he
was. Oh, yeah, that's right. No, but I think it was Shane and then you, Christian, right?
Was it?
Oh, boy. I don't know. Somebody's going to let us know.
Right.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys didn't even know. And then there's going to be some guy that gets mad that I used the nerdy voice. I can't believe you're making fun of us. And hey, if you get mad at me doing the nerdy voice, that's because it's you. All the other people are laughing. Yes.
We make fun of each other.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it. No, but yeah, and then I'll never forget. Then after that, it was never the same, man. I get banned from Christian's car, and they broke us up, man. The booking department. Man,
they broke up Team Wreck.
Yeah, it was never the same. It was kind of awkward when we see each other at catering, and never spooned again. San Diego trip was canceled.
Hold on. Yeah, speaking of weird, okay, this is so many different weird levels. So
please allow me to explain this story.
Okay, you go for it.
Well, so we're riding in this cube van, the ring, and I'm sitting there, all 300 pounds of me, and I'm just so uncomfortable. So I look in the back, and like that puppy dog face, and you see me, you're like, come on back. I'm like, or I come back, I go, is there any place to lay down? And then there was 2 mats where Jay barely fit on, and then Swinger, and then we had the little person shoved up top. And then you go, well, here, you could lay here. I go, no, there's not enough room. He goes, well, if I lay sideways, we can kind of like spoon. And you've seen the innocence in my eyes and my face, and you go, you've never spooned before. I go, no. He goes, you go, let me show you. Just lay there. And I go, oh, this is comfortable. It feels like home. Maybe we can detour.
You are so full of it. You are so full of it. You weird man. No, we're at your place in Detroit. We have no place to stay. We stay at my place, guys.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah. I like that hot, sweaty, cube van where we're all shirtless.
no heat in your house. It's freezing. I remember like waking up in the middle of the night and like face first snoring against your wall, and people are snoring. I'm like, what is where are we?
Dude sleeping on your couch.
Yeah, there's a dude sleeping on your couch. They say, what is happening?
Yeah, I remember walking out, go to the bathroom. I come back. I'm like, Rhino, there's a dude sleeping on your couch. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just Nick. I'm like, who? Well, he stops by
you
sometimes.
Never warned us
like,
about this.
Yeah.
And then I just remember waking up with my face like up against this cold wall, going, what is happening? And then I'm like, wait, is this big bastard sleeping beside me? And is he spooning me right now? Like, what the hell is going on? So don't even make it sound like it was me. I was. You said, "Oh, you could sleep in my bed. It's okay. I'll go sleep on the couch." Well, when Nick gets there, all of a sudden Rhino comes rolling in and curls up next to me. I wake up and go, "What is happening?" There's this large man snoring on the couch. Now there's a large man trying to hold me.
Snoring in my ear. It was cold. I had to get warm. Times were rough back then.
So man, strange.
Remember how like it was 4 of us packed into that little bedroom when you guys would come down to Detroit.
Yeah,
man. You're like, Malcolm, you need to get us a room, man. Even at Rhino's place really ain't working out for us.
Yeah, and of course your brother Jimmy, who was there, who was also super funny. I think he enjoyed having us around, and like he was just
he loved having you guys around.
He was a funny guy, and you know, obviously, you know, sorry about.
Last year, I'll let your listeners know. My brother, he was 13 months older than me, and he was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and it was, they were going to treat him, and they started to, and it was just 2.5 months. It was so far gone. And the thing with kidney cancer is it's very treatable if they find it early, but usually they don't find it early because there's really no symptoms. You know, and a lot of times when they find it, it's on accident when they find it early. But yeah, he loved you guys. I mean, he'd always follow you guys. He'd get a kick out of your career. And, you know, it's one of those things where he was probably the nicest guy you would ever meet.
Yeah.
You know, he'd give you the shirt off your back, you know, and it's just like he worked hard, he paid his taxes.
Yeah.
You know, he would vote, but he would never tell you who he voted for, never talk about politics. That's probably why people liked him.
Yeah.
But he just, and he would make you laugh and not try to.
And he called everybody bro, including women.
Hey, bro.
Right.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I've heard, he's not here.
I've heard people do that since, but I'd never heard anyone do it at that point, and it always popped me huge.
He's telling you guys the story, and you guys are just sitting there, and he's like, I was like, bro, he's not here, and you guys start busting laughing. You're like, did you call her bro? He's like, yeah. And it was so normal to me. You know, so I'm like, you know, when you guys are laughing, I'm like, I found it funny that you guys are laughing, but I was just so used to hearing him call people bro. Like, bro. To call a girl a bro. Like, listen, bro. Well, yeah.
Good times, Rhino. Good times.
Yeah, real good times. So. Yeah. But no, we had some fun times. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, obviously, you know, being successful, you know, and then having the financial gains from being successful. But, you know, never, I like to tell people, you know, you don't have to be financially well off to be successful. If you know, a lot of people do charity work and they love what they do and they're successful and they're happy. And the key is to find happiness in your life. You know, I mean, we grew up, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of love in our house, and that was happiness, you know. And it's one of those things where money's not always happiness, and people have to remember that, you know, and especially with listeners, you know, a lot of people are happy when they watch wrestling, when they follow wrestling, when they listen to podcasts, you know, and they follow you guys, you know, on Twitter and all that. Happiness, you know, can be had. And there's nothing better in life than happiness, you know. So, I just had a PSA moment there.
But I know a lot of, well-off folks that aren't happy, and
holy cow. So, and it's unfortunate that they use that money for destructive personal destruction, not, to help other people out, But yeah, it's just, but when we were back then, we were just as happy, and it's just, and when you guys became parents and I became a parent, and, you find happiness through them. And then when you see, and it's one of those things where even though we didn't have money, we had a goal, we had, determination. We didn't go out and have a destructive path. We just, we moved forward and we had fun, and we had each other, and we're all good people, So.
Well, now let's talk about where you're at now, and you're back with WWE after runs in TNA, after being on the Indies. You come back. How's it feel? And at this stage in your career, what are you? 25 years in now?
The 23
years in now. How do you feel? Not just physically, but I mean, just being back. Is it still fun for you? You're teaming with Slater and everything, so I'm sure that's a blast. But I mean,
he is hilarious. He makes the road a lot easier. It's great. It's one of those things where I knew I would get there. I knew it would be a journey. And I was doing a lot of independent shows, here in the States, and I was staying busy, and it was fun to be on the independent shows because a lot of times you could help people out, and I'd watch, and, I'm not the type of person that can, train a person like, okay, this is how you do a headlock takeover.
Yeah.
Step 1, step 2. I can't do that. And I'll admit, now if, I can work with people that can do that, I'm the type of person, well, this didn't look good. Well, I see this, and you kind of point out their strengths, hide their weaknesses, work on them. But sometimes people can't get certain things, sometimes people can't do certain things. Let's highlight your strengths, and then, I'm kind of like I like to take someone and try and help them polish up. I can't really get them out of the gate, but I can try and help polish them up. And then, help them, okay, this is don't do, and, these are some of the things you can do, but it's up to you. You're you work harder for you. Nobody will work harder for you than you. So that was fun on the independent scene, but there's a lot of hustling and stuff. And then Hunter, there was an opportunity, Triple H, I can't call him Paul, some reason, weird reason. But he wanted to bring me down and work with some guys in NXT, and he knew I would get a good, strong reaction because he knew it was like grassroots on the indies. You're out there hustling. You're still staying, relevant in the fans' eyes on a local level. But then I would work with Ring of Honor too, so I would have that national TV. We didn't have a high slot, but I was still relevant. And then. So then when it came time for NXT, it was one of those things where, wow, this is really cool. And when I came out, the reaction, people were chanting, holy shit. And it was one of those moments where you're like, when I walked out with you guys for the first time, it was like, wow, it just hit you right in the face. It's like, this is really cool, and then I worked there for about, I want to say 11 months, then did a pay-per-view, and then didn't do anything for about 6 months, and then they did the brand split, and I was one of 5 guys Vince wanted to hire back. And then they put me with Slater, and it's just working with him, and, it's just, and then traveling with him. There's nothing like traveling with someone you work with in the ring. It's just, it's a lot of fun, and he keeps things interesting because he will make you laugh. It's one of those things. He'll say something out of the blue, and you'll just laugh for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a funny guy, and laughing keeps you sane on the road. It really does. I think some people and in prior generations, they turn to other things to kind of get them through the tedium and all of those things. But I think laughter has always been at least for the majority of the people that I ever hung with, laughter was the medicine that we used to kind of, get through that long road trip, or the early morning flights, or you smacking yourself with moisturizer at 3 a.m. in Phoenix, Arizona. Although, hey, do you remember this? Do you remember that you had to? This is going to be such a strange sounding story, but it was actually so sweet. I had ruptured my groin. Do you remember that in Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
I think it was. And you actually had to walk me into the shower because I couldn't lift my feet. Yeah. I couldn't lift it's such a strange feeling. Like I could not lift my foot. So I needed to kind of be pulled into the shower because I was just all oily and sweaty and everything. And then you helped me get out of my clothes in the hotel and pick my feet up and put them in bed, and you helped me get my clothes on the next day. And then they actually had to put me in a wheelchair to get me to the gate to get up to San Francisco for TV, where I dropped, relinquished the IC title. And then you, Birdman, and Jericho had a ladder match for it. Boom.
Wow, that was it. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the only strange part was when you yelled at me. You're like, will you quit staring at me while I lather my body up with something? I'm like, huh? What? Quit staring at me. I just needed help. No, that's untrue.
I know, but I'll never forget. It's like this. Oh my God, I can't even pick up my feet. But we were riding together, and you helped me get into bed, get out of bed. You helped me, get dressed. It was, you find yourself.
You just do, for your friends, family, you just do, I mean, if I ever needed you guys would be there. Maybe not Jay, but you like, hey, I'd love to be with you, but I'd love to help you out, but I got this rent a car and you're not allowed. So you're going to have to crawl to the hospital. So, no, but it's just one of those things you do. You just help each other out, friends, our family too. So, but yeah, I actually forgot about that. So I'm glad.
I did too.
Ever need anything, I'll say, hey, remember that time?
Remember that time with your groin?
Yeah. Had to put some powder on there too.
Hey, you like to take these stories even further than what they were. Yeah. They're already strange enough. It's not making me weird.
Say, if they're weird, let's just get them. Let's just go a little weirder. But it is, So.
Well, Rhinus, we should probably let you go to finish putting your AC. You and Ronnie, put your AC in, and you said your friend's name was Ron, right? That you were making put in. Yeah,
I'm calling him Ronnie from now on.
doesn't fucking matter.
Ron, you got a shout out on the podcast. Now you're gonna charge me triple.
So I mean. So just before we go, though, as far as your, this run you're on now, obviously your role has changed as far as the years go and all that sort of thing. How do you feel about where you're at now, and what do you see happening here in the future for you?
Just helping out the younger guys. Because a lot of people, how it is. A lot of people look up to you. They've seen what you've done, and maybe they haven't watched a lot of what you've done, but they respect you. And and I think I've worked hard enough, and I'm happy for the respect that I get, whether it's on the Indies or in WWE. And there was a little issue at TV last week. Someone wanted to have some ink work done, and the office was like, well, there's certain things, and and they had their heart set on it. And then I pull them off to the side, and I'm like, first off, better to ask for forgiveness than permission. But you didn't hear me tell you that. But no, I set them off to the side, and I said, listen, there's a lot of moving parts that we don't see. Whether it's, new dolls coming out, new video games, they want to kind of keep, everything rolling at the same level. If you're coming out with a total different look or this or that, it throws things off a little bit. So, and this is someone that's new. And, and because they were a little worked up, how it is when you're passionate about something, especially ink, body work and, artwork on your body to express yourself. and this person has a lot of ink. But anyways, I said, you have to look at their point, and then I calmed them down and I got them to see their point of view, the office point of view and all these other things that we don't notice that it goes on, from sponsorships to this, to that, and it's like, we have to be aware of that. It's not that they're saying no because they want to be mean or they want to control you. It's nothing like that. There's a lot of moving parts and we got to keep those parts moving. So, and then they walked away with a bit of comfort and a little more knowledge that it's just not, go out and have a match and move to the next town. There's, this company and this business has grown so much that there's more moving parts and we can't throw monkey wrenches in them. So,
and that what I like about this story? You know what I like about this story?
And?
We got our first, but we got our first, but anyways. And
there you go.
And then you still continued on for 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
There it is, everybody. That was our life. Now picture naked, moisturized smacking along with stories like that, and you have what we experienced on the road. Yeah.
I've tried to get away from the anyways and long story short. But yeah, guys, I'm happy to have you guys in my life, and it's just, you guys are, doing great as always, and you guys are funny and you entertain a lot of people and you make a lot of people happy. So
don't get all mushy, man.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. Hey, man.
No, we love you. You big bastard. You're ass bigger than your back bastard. We love you. We miss you.
Right.
And I will actually come out on your boat again.
There you go. Jay, can I get a commitment on you? The boat?
No.
If I stay out of your rent-a-cars, all right, I'm just going to have to sneak into one of your rent-a-cars. I'm literally going to do that.
No, I'll fucking pull up in my my hovercraft beside your car.
You're a dick.
There it is.
Some things never change. Yeah. What's funny is people, they go, how's Edge and Christian? Edge is great. Christian, what a dick. And they're like, really? I'm like, nah, he's a cool dude, but
what kind of a dick?
So, but anyways, all right, guys, I'll let you go. Thanks for everything. Thanks for your time. And we'll definitely have to catch up on the boat. And so,
yeah, all right, bud. Well, thanks for coming on. Love you.
Hey, and another thing, I'm trying not to say anything, but I'm actually looking at buying a small marina, and it has a house on there.
Nice.
So it'll be. I'm not going to tell you the name, but it'll be a pretty good.
You're
cool. You know what?
Better off.
Hey, I'm going to file that under I don't give a fuck. So, anyways, good talk, buddy.
Well, no, it'd be a good business venture, and have a little marina, my passion, and well, you just turned a happy moment into a sour one.
All right, buddy.
I'm gonna piss on your rent-a-car. How do you like that?
All right, we'll talk to you after.
All right, I'll talk. Anyways, I'll talk to you later.
See you, buddy. Oh, Rhino. That would have gone on forever.
Yeah, it was about to.
Yeah. Well, always good catching up with him. One of our best friends, obviously. One of those guys where even if we don't see him for 6 months or 8 months, or talk to him for a few months, you pick up right where you left off, like you saw him the day before.
Yes. Although I did realize in talking and going through all of those stories, a lot of weird stories over the years.
Yeah, very weird.
Lot of weird ones in there.
More weird with you guys than with me, I will say
that. Yeah, it got weird a couple times. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. We've been in showers together way too often, and in hotel rooms naked or spooned way too often. I don't know how that happened over the years, but it did. So there you have it.
There you have it. Well, it was a long show. Oh, also, I guess I should mention that. I was at the UK Championship the second night. Had a great time. Saw a lot of good young up and coming talent. Some obviously some wrestlers, guys and girls that are on the British scene that are now getting a chance to kind of step up to a different stage and show the kind of world what they can do. And it's exciting, and it was a great show. Atmosphere is amazing at Royal Albert Hall. Some really good matches. I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, but make sure you check it out on the WWE Network, because it was both nights were great. And that second night, obviously, some pretty cool matchups mixing the NXT with the NXT British brand. So very cool, very fun. Glad I got a chance to hang out there, and of course, I had to put myself over. Went out, did a little wave, a little curtsy to the crowd. It's good times,
You did a curtsy?
A little curtsy. Oh, and you know what? I was outside the Royal Albert Hall, brother. Whoa. They wouldn't let me in. They had the doors barred and the windows locked, brother. Oh, they were afraid Paul Smack could come in and disrupt the whole thing. Oh, I went and got some fish and chips. I jumped back in the ocean and I swam back. Pete Dunne, this isn't over between you and I, brother. Oh, the bruiserweight. Oh, I'm gonna roll you up. I'm gonna take that title. Oh, you hold that belt in your teeth. Oh, I'm tied around my waist the way it's supposed to be. Oh, I'm a traditionalist. Oh, I don't do these fancy things like you do, brother. I wear my silk jacket, I wear my tassels, and I win titles. Oh, I'm coming for you. Oh, and one more thing, Pete Dunne. Oh, I want to tell you this right now. Your plan ain't working when Paul Smackage is lurking.
There you go. Wow. So he's back in the U.S. apparently.
I think he just jumped back in the ocean.
Oh, he just
yeah. I think he did some sightseeing today because he wanted to see. Yeah, and then he jumped back in the drink. So.
Wow. All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully he's okay, and hopefully he doesn't make a hard right this time to Iceland Island, and makes it. Okay, so that happened. Yeah. We'd also we got to talk about Vader, right. And the absolutely revolutionary performer in the industry, not just a big man, which I know is going to be the thing that everybody talks about. And yes, he was the prototype of what a big man is or could be in the industry. Moonsaults, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, the Vader bomb, just the taking a guy that had no physical reason or you wouldn't expect to see somebody of that size doing the things that he was doing, but he did them. And like I said, revolutionized, was kind of the first kind of mobile big man, him, maybe kind of Bam Bam Bigelow, the same type of thing. But he had that badass aura about him too, right? In Japan, when he came out with the helmet and the steam and the whole vibe about him, there was danger, kind of had that, that whole aura.
That's what I was going to say. Think back to that era, and when he was he was scary. I remember just feeling oh man, the bad things are going to happen. The bear clubs and the power bombs and the poking his eye back in the socket against Hansen in Japan, and man, from Baby Bull Power White and AWA to where he got as Big Van Vader, and then Vader, and being involved with Mick having his ear ripped off, and just so many pivotal things throughout the 90s, and for me it's I had his last match in his initial WWF run.
Oh, really?
It was on Sunday Night Heat. And I remember just thinking, man, I'm working Vader here. I'm going over. This is his last match for the company. How's this going to go? And, it was physical. It was definitely physical.
Yeah.
But, it's very surreal to be able to look back and say, man, I worked Vader. And he really was just like Ray almost, but in a completely different category, if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, rest in peace, Leon White, Vader.
Rest in power,
Vader. Obviously, his contributions to the business will never be forgotten, and legendary big man for sure.